So there's a neighborhood, Golden Gate Barrio, on Buckey and 20th Street, well, what used to be 20th Street. So it's technically the crossroads of Buckey and 16th Street. So the neighborhood got its name back in the day when there was this family that had a gay in the 1930s, a Hispanic family, and then they painted the gate gold, and they called it Golden Gate, from what I recall. The neighborhood over the years got demolished due to the airport expansion that happened in the 90s and 80s. Well, Golden Gate is the funniest neighborhood because the only thing that remained were historical events. Was the church. The guy that built the church was in the 1950s. You could see the aerial Maricopa County view, how they were building the church in the 1950s. The church was made specifically for Hispanics. Well, the church was actually for everybody. In the church, it was the historical remained in this part of Phoenix. The airport pretty much demolished the whole neighborhood. So if you go back to the 1980s, around 1970s, that's when they started demolishing the whole neighborhood. Golden Gate now has been completely eradicated. It doesn't really exist anymore. There's no houses. There's nothing, no businesses. There's a few videos and pictures of how it used to look and how the Hispanics here used to live. You look at these weddings, you look at all these people. It's insane how it happens over the years. Well, what do you call it? It's gonna happen pretty soon. Supposedly it was gonna happen to LCM. It was gonna happen to Green Valley Park. It was happening to all these other neighborhoods. The reason the church survived is because all the people united and they said they worked for the church. The guy, I don't want to call him the pastor. He was a World War II veteran, so they saved the church. And it was a way for him. He's very famous around this area. Well, back in the 80s and back in the 70s. If you go back to these articles from the 90s, you start seeing how they started destroying the houses. Kind of how it looks like LCM and these other neighborhoods. Well, this is the neighborhood how it looks like today. They're gonna mainly industrialize it, so they're gonna push in more businesses. What I look from it, they don't. From what I recall, there was people that were buried here. Back in the day, it was very common to bury your own relatives in your own house, so that was a very common tradition back in the day. That's the reason they protested back in the day, to make sure they excavate their own remains. There's a few neighborhoods that also have cemeteries, and well, that's about it. Cause that's about it. The whole neighborhood. Well, every house got bought off by the government for actually the guys that bought the houses lost money, so the government bought the city bought the houses for a cheaper price than the guys bought the house for. So I believe they lost more money. The city of Phoenix, if I recall correctly, did not want to tell anybody about what happened here for one reason, because a lot of people had heart in their community and had stuff like that, and that's how it was. And this is how you look at it today. How do I explain it? There's really nothing here. It's just the church, but the church holds a historical ground, because a lot of people don't know why the church is here. Why there's a church in the middle of the vacant area, and that's because it was from Golden Gate Barrio, Hispanic Chicano neighborhood. This neighborhood was filled with Chicanos back in the day, Pachucos, what I recall. And a lot of these Chicanos, they have been generational, so they've been like third, fourth generational, and they wanted to keep the root. I'm not sure where most of these people from Golden Gate migrated to. I believe they migrated to Nueva Calle, or because I know Little Hollywood, and El Campito. Most of them migrated to 39th Avenue in Hollywood, and that's the one thing. And well, that's a little history about Golden Gate. There's videos, there's photos. It's just my bad. And this is how it used to look, and that's how it was. And there you go. That's the reason they $5 billion project, which it was of more money. The money bought out the neighborhood because the people actually rather have the airport that makes a lot more money. it makes a lot more jobs, and it makes a lot more other things. So the neighborhood had to get demolished and eradicated. But everything that holds still is the church, the Pachucos, and then the Susuters. They're the ones that used to control these type of neighborhoods back in the day. And you look at all these articles, you start seeing shootings, you start seeing stabbings, you start seeing people, from back in the day. And that's about it. And this is the one for Golden Gate Barrio. The gang that was here used to beat up. They used to go to war with LCM, and LCM actually started because of Golden Gate Barrio. Golden Gate Barrio was actually much older than. Obviously, Golden Gate Barrio was much older than LCM. So a lot of the Golden Gators used to go to war with LCM, and that's how LCM started. Because back in the 1950s, Golden Gate was much bigger than LCM, because LCM was a 4-lot. And that's another thing.